Hey everyone, I'm Joe Ferzoco.
And I am Chris Ferzoco, and in this video, guess what? We're talking about market statistics. In this video, we're gonna look at the first half of 2026, and we're gonna compare that, Joe, to the first half of 2025. We're gonna look at the overall sales value of properties. We're gonna look at the number of properties that sold, number of properties that came on the market. We're gonna look at the sale price versus list price. We'll look at the days on market, and in our videos, folks, we always like to remind you, we do that with every property that happens to be on the multiple listing service. So whether it's dirt, vacant lot, could be commercial, could be a duplex, multifamily, penthouse, could be an efficiency, it doesn't matter if it's on the multiple listing service, it is included in our data.
100%, Chris. And of course, folks, if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, please make sure you subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications, and please hit that like button. You'll be the first to get the most up-to-date market information, happenings down here all summer long, or all year long, actually, at the Jersey Shore. And not that Jersey Shore, our Jersey Shore, Upper Township, Cape May Courthouse, Lower Township, Cape May, Diamond Beach, Wildwood Crest, Wildwood, West Wildwood, North Wildwood, Anglesey, Stone Harbor, Avalon, Sea Isle, Strathmere, Ocean City, Summers Point, Ventnor, Margate, and Longport. That's our Jersey Shore, folks. So let's go ahead and let's get started, Chris. We're going to do the first half of 2026 compared to the first half of last year.
Yep.
Let's get us started.
All right, so looking in Ocean City, as I always like to start in Ocean City, the number comparison is the exact same. So you had 1.38 million this year versus 1.38 million overall value here in Ocean City. And when you look at the number of properties that sold, Joe, you actually only had a 5.5% decrease. We had 331 properties sell last year versus 312 this year. So very similar statistic there. The number of properties that actually came on the market, we actually saw a 4.5% decrease. So you had 695 come on the market last year versus 663 come on the market this year. Wow. So again, similar, you're looking at 32 properties coming on the market. You had only a difference of 19 actually sell. So still fairly close.
Sure.
But you're still seeing slight decreases there in the number of properties selling and the number of properties coming on the market. As for sale price versus list price, we actually had the exact same. It was 96.5%. And the days on market was actually virtually the same, 55 last year versus 53 this year. So Ocean City's numbers were almost identical in 2026 versus 2025. When you look in Sea Isle City, very similar story. 1.61 last year versus 1.61 this year. And you look at the number of properties that sold. We had 66 actually sold last year versus 91 this year. So huge significant increase there, about 38% jump there for Sea Isle. So a lot of properties selling. And when you look at the number of properties that came on the market, the exact same at 83. When you look at your sale price versus list price, you had the same at 97.5%. Days on market, you had 123 last year versus 116 this year. So those two short towns show the numbers in 2026 were identical virtually almost across the board as they were in 2025.
How about that? So it doesn't matter what kind of rain, snow, cold, doesn't matter. They're pretty consistent is what we are looking at here. Yep, absolutely. So, all right, let's move down the parkway a little bit, Chris. Let's go into North Wildwood. So your average sale price for the first half of this year compared to last was up 26%. Your average sale price was $894,000 the first half of 2026. Number of transactions this year did fall. We had 97 this year compared to 125 last year. It's not a huge difference, but still, it was about a 28 unit difference compared to last year. Number of properties that came on the market, that also dropped as well. We only had 148 properties come on the market the first half of 2026 compared to almost 200 last year. So a drop in the inventory there in North Wildwood. Days on market was sat right around 96% this year, 97% last year, and days on market was 125 days this year, 107 last year. The one thing that I did notice, Chris, like your days on market for most of our towns, they're all pretty much the same. There's not really too much of a difference there. Agreed. Sometimes from month to month they do fluctuate, but when we start getting into quarters or like these semi-annuals, they're pretty much the same. There's not really any big gaps or anything like that. So let's jump into Wildwood. So your average sale price was actually up 16%. It was $702,000 the first half of 2026 compared to $588 last year. Number of transactions for the first half of this year was 108. was 107 last year. The number of properties that came on the market was 183 this year, was 176 last year. So pretty consistent there.
Yeah.
And as far as your list price to sale price, 96%. Days on market was about 142 days this year and last year. So pretty consistent across the board there for Wildwood. Moving to the Wildwood Crest, your average sale price was up 15%. $859,000 was your average sale price this year compared to $729 last year. Number of transactions, we had 74 this year, 65 last year, so pretty close. 139 properties came on the market in the first half of this year in Wildwood Crest. It was 111 last year, so a small little increase there in the number of properties. List price to sale price, 96%. Days on market was 132 days this year, was 106 last year. So again, not too much difference there within 30 days, within about a month. Moving into West Wildwood, we don't really have any stats from last year. For West Wildwood from a comparison standpoint. There were transactions, but for this year, the average sale price is $799,000 with 5 transactions, 13 new listings, and your list price to sale price was right around 93%. So we'll be able to get that in the back end when we do the January to December of the end of this year. We can be able to compare that there. So Cape May, actually, average sale price was up about 14%. It was 1.55 million in the first half of this year. It was 1.33 last year. So a good jump there. Number of transactions, that dropped. We had 33 this year. There were 10 last year. So a drop in the number of transactions. The inventory too, again, that was also a drop. We noticed like with January to May, in the first quarter and the second quarter, it became inventory down. We only had 42 properties come on the market in all of the first half of 2026 compared to 60 last year. That was about a 33% decrease. Days on market was pretty consistent, right around 142, 146 days. List price to sale price right around 93%. And finally, let's go into Sea Point Village, Diamond Beach. Your average sale price for 2026 compared to 25, that was down 2%. 759,000 compared to 776 last year. Number of transactions, it was a big difference there. We had 9 transactions in Diamond Beach and Sea Point Village this year, the first half. We had 20 last year.
Wow, that is significant.
Yeah, as far as the number of properties that came on the market, not too big of a deal. We had 15 this year, 24 last year, so not too big of a difference there. Your days on market, this was the biggest difference. It was 60 days on market this year. It was 108 last year. Not sure why that is, but the list price to sale price, Chris, that was about the same. It was like 97, 98%. So
yeah. Well, and Joe, I think the story that we're seeing here right now in just the short towns, just to pause here for a second, is again, all values are up, if not the same.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you only had Sea Point Village, but that's always a small little, a small number there at minus 2%. I mean, all the values are increased, or they're the exact same. So we'll again, at the end of this video, we'll kind of address that and our opinion on that. But when you're looking at it, if you watched our videos over the years, it's like, okay, you're on the sidelines, you're waiting, it's costing you more.
Yeah.
So what happened in the primary home market? Is it the same as the shore market? Well, in Upper Township, it is. We actually went from 627,000. We had an 8.5% increase to 679,000. Number of properties that sold actually had a 4% decrease. It dropped by 3. At 67 last year versus 64 this year. And the number of properties that actually came on the market was about a 10% decrease. A 7% decrease of 10 units from 134 down to 124 single family homes came on the market here in Upper Township. And when you also look at the sale price to list price, 96%, the exact same.
Sure.
Days on market went from 52 to 71. So in Summers Point, our other primary home market there, we went from 469,000 to the median price point right now at 450. And the reason I did the median, as I mentioned in other videos, because the overall sales value right now is 2.1 million. A lot of new construction, a lot of stuff happening there that's throwing the numbers out of whack. So I'm just trying to balance it out a little bit more closer to than what it sounds like at 450 versus 469 last year.
there you go.
Number of properties sold, 76 last year, 79 this year. Number of properties that came on the market, 148 last year. You actually had a 17% increase because you had 173 units come on the market this year in 2026.
How about that?
Overall days on market went from 36 up to 58. So you saw a little bit of an increase there in the days on market. I attribute that to the new construction factor that's going on at Summers Point.
Nice. Very good.
Yep.
Well, that's good to hear for Summers Point, for sure. Moving into, let's stick offshore. We'll go North Cape May. Your average sale price was up 22% So the first half of this year compared to last, it was 639,000 compared to a straight 500,000 last year. Number of transactions, we had 59 this year compared to 47 last year, so not significant, but about 12 more transactions this year. As far as inventory is concerned, not much as far as the number of properties came on the market. 85 this year, 74 last year, so no real change there. List price to sale price was up, was 99% this year, 97% last year. And your days on market within 5 days, 97 days this year, 102 last year. Cape May Courthouse finally, average sale price was up 11%, $476,000 was your average sale price in Cape May Courthouse for this year. Compared to 426 last year at this time. Number of transactions, identical, 68. Number of properties that came on the market was down. We had 109 this year, the first half of this year in Courthouse compared to 151 last year. So a little bit, again, a little bit of a difference there in inventory. And as far as your days on market, that was about 147 days this year, 124 last year. So again, within about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks there, and your list price to sale price was sitting right around 97% for Cape May Courthouse. So that kind of wraps up there, Chris, offshore for us down here too. And like you were saying, we're seeing changes in inventory or changes in number of transactions. They're not significant. The percentage looks higher, but they're not significant. The significance ends up being in sale price.
Yeah, well, I think when you look across the board, again, this is year versus year, folks. So if you sat on the sideline and said, I'm going to wait, the market's going to crash, the bubble's going to burst, it's all going to go down, every town was exactly either the same, which is Ocean City and Seattle, or the rest of them were all increased in the overall value of the property in those given towns.
There you go.
The one decrease that you saw, I think, across most of our areas was the number of properties that came on the market.
Yeah.
So the idea of I'm going to wait for it to burst, which means more homes will come on the market, I'll have more choices, the prices are going to drop. The exact opposite happened in that theory.
Yeah.
It's now costing you more money. You lost any potential equity you could have gained over the course of the last year because all those values have increased. Interest rates have not dropped. So now you're paying virtually the exact same interest rates you could have paid last year. You're paying a higher price. And if you're buying a shore home, you didn't get your beach time, you didn't build the memories that you wanted to build with your family. You put all of that on pause, and all it did now is actually cost you more money. And quite frankly, there's less inventory right now than there was at this time last year overall when you look at most of these towns that we're covering. So, waiting is just costing you, and it becomes one of those, what are you waiting for? You said that in one of the other reasons. What are you waiting for? It's literally costing you more than just money. It's costing you equity, it's costing you the memories, and you're just putting it on pause, and it's not working in your favor.
Yeah, no reason
just
to be
being honest, it's not working in your favor.
No reason to be putting it on pause. I mean, like we've talked about, the one consistency we see is inventories are not skyrocketing, as far as these numbers that we're always talking about, and the price points just incrementally, even sometimes ever so slightly, are going in the upward direction. Okay. So, well, folks, like everything else, so that's our semi-annual 2026 compared to 2025. If you have any other questions about your specific town, about your specific property, maybe you're looking to sell, you'd like to sit down with Chris or myself, sit down and do a much more in detailed market evaluation on your property, your neighborhood, please feel free, give us a call, shoot us a text. Would love to help you out. Of course, if you're looking to buy, you can certainly reach out to us here at the Ferzoco Group. We'll hook you up with, set you up with one of our fantastic agents here at the Ferzoco Group. Make sure you're in front of all the new listings that are coming onto the market. Maybe a price change on a property, a status change, the deal falls apart, and now all of a sudden the property becomes available. We'll make sure that you're getting that before everybody else. So again, that's going to wrap up 2026 first half compared to 2025 first half. He's Chris, I'm Joe. Until next time, we'll see you at the beach.